We should be up.
Dun, 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 dun,
Okay.
dun, dun, dun,
And
dun.
I will go live here on this end. And just so you know, Paula, we have people that'll be commenting in real time. So they'll ask you questions and they'll make comments or whatever. So our audience is, really interactive.
Is there anything else I should know? You're not awake. The audience is interactive. There's
Nah,
some kind
nah.
of creepy
Well,
ass guy in
well,
the
I would
background
I'm gonna tell
monitoring
you
me.
I'm gonna tell you why I asked you on because
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it.
because
Oh,
I
can
You
we?
want to? Okay, we'll save it. We'll save it. But I also but I want to preface this in by saying Paula makes good points about certain things, but I wanted to have people like her on to
Mhm.
explain this divide that we're having between these candidates.
Okay,
And
cool.
she,
Yeah,
so
then I know nothing about it, so that's why I wanted to be completely fresh.
okay, cool. So I'm gonna go. Are we ready to go live?
I think we are live, but it's not showing up on my feed yet. I don't know.
Okay, give me a
It
second.
says, oh wait, there it is. I don't know why I tried to share it. It wouldn't work. All right, cool.
All right, I'm gonna go with the song. Real time, so
Huh.
they'll ask you
I
questions.
tried to share it. It wouldn't work. There we go. All right, cool.
All right, we're going with the song. And screen share sound, Bip, and Bip. Hi, Barnett.
Ian Harris.
The revolution is not afraid of pronouns.
The revolution is not afraid of real history.
The revolution is not brought to you by election deniers.
Hey man, some people are simply trash.
The revolution will not be brought to you by gerrymandered districts.
90% of our country doesn't have critical thinking skills. 50% of our country doesn't have empathy.
Ian Harris is good as fuck with numbers.
I refuse to stand for any flag or anthem that does not stand for me.
The revolution will not be brought to you by the letter Q or any other dumbass conspiracies.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new and totally remote episode of Critical and Thinking Podcast. Ty Barnett.
Ian Harris. And yeah, so I'm gonna jump in with Ty. Ty just got off a long ass crazy shoot. So if Ty seems a little bit out of it, that's for that. But he'll be all right.
Yes, we'll power through it. We'll power through it. But we're joined by a very special guest, Paula Bell, who I know as a stand-up. I don't know if your list of credits, so I don't know all of that. So if you want to tell our audience about all of that, please feel free to tell everybody what you do. But that's how I know you. And I also wanted for everyone out there, I wanted Paula to be on because Ian and I have talked on the show before about it coming down to two candidates. It's going to come down to these two same dudes. And I'd seen a couple of posts from Paula, and I wanted to ask her because I wanted to have people on the show to help us try to figure out why we are where we are and how we move forward, because we're going to have the same two choices as we had 4 years ago. So that's why I wanted Paula on, because she's not Trumpy at all, but she has some definite viewpoints, and I wanted her on the show for that. So welcome to the show, Paula. Tell people about you.
Oh, right on. Thanks for having me. I am a stand-up comic for the past 30 years. I have to list credits.
Nah, but I'm just saying, I always
Yeah,
want
because
to make sure.
I just think you're as good as your last show. So whether it was on the corner ranting in front of, people with shopping carts or at the
Hilarious.
Laugh Factory, whatever. I've done everything from
Who
Tonight
books that? Who
Showtime
books
to
that?
BET, everything. So.
Who books who books that show with the shopping carts?
That's a self-promoted show when I just feel like ranting on the corner.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? It's I've just been around a long time. Let's just
Yeah.
that's
No,
good
no.
enough, right?
Yes, but that again, like I said, I think with us as stand-ups, I think that's another reason too, because words mean a lot to us, and Ian and I have talked about it on the show before, where we say when stand-ups have a certain opinion on things like this, politics, it means something different than the average citizen that doesn't pay attention to words like we do, because words matter in our craft.
Words and truth matters, I think. And also I think that we should clarify whether it's a younger comic or a comic that's been around for a long time.
Right.
Or, you know, I mean, I don't see too many younger comics using their platforms for anything political, or, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm older, so already I'm gonna have that acerbic look on young people, like they could be doing more, you know what I'm saying? Or using their gift or their platform or their voice for truth, or, you know, things that are happening politically or in the world. But, you know, a lot of younger comics, they want to get up there and talk to you about their babysitter. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You can't expect, I feel that, like, I didn't know Ian, so I was looking up who Ian was, because even though you've been around a long time, comedy is so vast and big, you're not going to meet everybody, you know? And
Sure.
when I watch younger comics, you know, it's almost a seminar. There's no jokes, punchlines, setups, and there's not a lot of depth, if you will. I don't know.
Right.
You know, I tell bar jokes, I tell dirty jokes for a living. I can get down with the best of them, but sometimes you do want to hear something of substance, and you're not always going to get that, is what I'm saying. And I'll tell them that to their face, and they know me for that.
Am I maybe, I hope I'm getting this right. Did I see you post a picture with you and Richard Pryor?
Yes, because
Yes.
when I was starting out, when I was green, which back in the day, green used to be 10 years or younger in the game. So I
Man.
was about 5 years in, and I got to open for Richard Pryor at the Comedy
10 years now, you 3 Netflix specials in nowadays.
That's right. That's right. See, times have changed. And, you know, I get it. I'm old and cranky as fuck and whatever, excuse me, whatever, you know, but
Oh, you can fucking
times
curse here.
have
Don't worry about that. So let's dive into this, because like I said, what drew my attention to asking you on the show, I'd seen your post, you post a bunch of stuff, but what Ian and I wanted to start doing on the show, and we used to ask straight up Trump supporters to come on the show and just be like, hey, just talk to us about why you believe what you believe.
That's daring.
Well, because
not really, they're not very smart. So.
Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Yeah, they never really want to come on, and the 1 or 2 people that did, it didn't end well. But what we do feel is something that needs to be addressed, is that there is this thing that Biden seems to not be, he's rubbing certain people a certain way. And I remember one specific post you made was his stance on Israel and the conflict in Israel, you know. So I wanted you to explain that a little bit more, and your standpoint. First of all, what do you think of if it comes down to these two?
First of all, I like to say that I know that's what they want you to believe, is that there's only the 2 candidates. And if we don't go for either or, you know, we have to, because the other ones in the Green Party are, you know, they're not going to matter. But I don't like to believe that myself, you know, and you can call it hopeful or whatever, but there are other candidates. I personally feel, before we have this, between the 2 candidates, I really feel like that White House needs to be taken apart brick by brick, honestly, and something else needs to be brought to the table. And we need to get rid of AIPAC, and we need to get rid of, you know, people being paid as politicians. But how is that going to happen without a revolution?
Well,
you know,
can I just say there's 2 choices right now. If you're looking at the right or the left, the only side that wants to get rid of Citizens United is the left. The only side that wants to bring in ranked choice voting so that we could have viable third party is the left. The only candidate on the right now wants to get rid of democracy. So to me, even if I hate Joe Biden, at least the left wants to do something about voting. The left wants to do something about humans. The left wants to do something about making sure that we can have viable third parties. The left wants to do something about having free and fair elections. So I don't know how. That's the thing that throws me and Ty, is that I don't know how it's a choice. For me, it's, even if you think Biden isn't great, like, okay, I don't like tuna, and they're giving me a tuna sandwich. The alternative is intravenous dog shit. Like, I don't know how you.
Yeah.
Well, you know?
I think that Biden, I mean, that's how, but you got to be careful with Biden. Biden got in, and he's really, especially with Israel, I mean, he's shown his true colors, his true loyalty. It's not to this country. He's a blatant racist, always has been. He's
Biden?
Responsible for a lot, and was alone responsible for passing the bill in 96,
well, hold up.
or 94 for
You gotta-
black and brown people incarcerated.
You got
So
to
he's
stop
a
on that. Hold
demon.
up. That's extreme hyperbole. He was not solely responsible, because it takes a vote.
Right, but he was the one who was
sponsored it.
insistent upon it.
Okay, he sponsored it 28 years ago. The intentions, there are
People
things
don't change.
the things that we've repealed it since. The
No.
the things in it, there were things in it that were good. Part of it was outlawing assault rifles. The reason is because here where I live in mid-city Los Angeles, Black men and Latino men were shooting each other and killing each other day in and day out with gang violence. What they were trying to do, although they realized later it was wrong, they were trying to stop gang violence. It actually worked. Gang violence greatly decreased where I live. It's not anything like it was in the 90s, but it came with the incarceration of black and brown people. And when they realized that was happening, we repealed those parts and stopped those parts. It wasn't put in because, oh, let's incarcerate brown and black people. It was meant to be, get rid of assault rifles and get rid of gang violence. And the side effect of that was that it was used for other things, drug laws and, cocaine versus crack and all that sort of stuff. It was repealed. He has since moved on. 100% of people that were in politics in 1994, 1996 were against gay marriage. Almost everybody on the left and some people on the right have changed their stance on that. We are allowed to change our stances on things. So the 94 crime bill, that is 96 crime, but whatever, I guess 94 is when they first put it in, so 30 years ago. That is completely irrelevant now.
But wait, I have to say something, because you're saying it's to stop gang violence, and it was mass incarceration and indiscriminate pulling over black and brown people and
that was not in the
them.
bill. That was not in the bill.
It was happening though.
That's what I just said though.
And it wasn't just about, I have a problem with this country anytime they say, oh, this is gang violence, this is why we're taking away arms from black and brown people. I mean, go back to Reagan. The reason why they stopped certain laws about guns was because the Black Panthers had armed themselves, why shouldn't they be able to arm themselves? You have white people who have been armed and strapped up in this country since the get. So I have a big problem when
But again, you're
it's
conflating
to
though.
dismantle gang violence. They don't give a shit.
Yes, they do give a shit about gang violence. I live in the heart of
that.
gang violence. They give a shit about it.
I want to address both things there. As a black person, I will say this, and I can tell you this firsthand, Paula. I grew up in Chicago when crack was destroying families, like I personally have felt the effects of crack. I'm telling you this personally. I felt the effects of it. I've seen the neighborhoods destroyed. I've seen neighborhoods that were beautiful and they go to shit. Now, a lot of that was because the government put a lot of shit in those neighborhoods thinking that it was only going to affect those neighborhoods, and they ended up fucking with everybody. Then it became an epidemic. unfortunately, we always bear the brunt of the shittiness as Black people, Black and brown people. We always bear the brunt of it. But we also have a lot of people in those neighborhoods, as Ian was saying, that this shit needed to be fixed. Though those neighborhoods needed to be cleaned up. Like they needed to get that stuff out of there. And that crime, because I always say I'm liberal to a certain extent, but when it comes to crime, I'm very conservative because I don't believe that if you have no reason to not commit crimes, that you're gonna just, hey, I'm good now. That's why with the 3 strikes, I'm like, hey man, listen, if you're gonna keep committing crime and you're not gonna give yourself a better option, then you do deserve to be in prison for the rest of your life. I'm of that mindset because I want my streets safe. So, and as Ian was saying, Biden isn't the only one. Now, you said something that I was like, well, you said people don't change. Now, see, that's when people say that, I have a hard time rationalizing that as a Black man, because then that means I should just accept this country as a whole doesn't like me. They don't like people that look like me.
And I know tons of people on here change. We've got tons of people on here saying right now, Tammy's like, I used to be I'm a conservative. Tam's like, I used to be crazy. And some of these people are the most progressive people I know. They're like, I used to be a sexist. Really quick.
You're correct. People do change. And maybe I should have said politicians don't change.
But again, that's not fair. That's not fair to say.
I think they
change all the time. But also, Ty, really quick, the 3 strikes law is a great fucking example of what I was talking about with the crime bill. The 3 strikes law, we repealed it because it fucking sucked. So what you're doing, Paula, is you are putting on intention that isn't there, that nowhere else you can point to that Biden is racist on any other level. But it's like, okay, so he was involved in this crime bill and that crime bill was racist. The crime bill was not set out to be racist. There is no racist language. The crime bill ended up having racist side effects. Same thing with the 3 strikes law. The 3 strikes
by the way, that side effect was an effect of the racist cops, racist lawmakers, racist people in general.
And our systematic racism, which only one side of the political spectrum even believes exists. And I've heard Biden talk about systemic racism, so I know he at least believes systemic racism exists. But let's look at the 3 strikes law. That sounds great. 3 felonies, go to jail, fuck off. But then what were the felonies? Oh, this guy got busted with an ounce of weed. Right. Okay. Oh, this guy didn't pay his child support or whatever. Some other
one dude's 3rd strike was an ice cream sandwich.
So when you look at that, you go, this is crazy. And then when you go, well, who are they targeting? Okay, well, the cops are going into these areas and they're targeting anybody that they don't like because they're racist or whatever. So now, while the 3rd strike law sounds great, 3 felonies, go to jail, 25 years. You're like, oh wait, 3 guys who got smoking weed are now in prison for life. And then we look at the justice system and we say, okay, well, it's not the same for brown and Black people and white people. White people, rich white people, these guys who like rape people, these rich kids who rape some girl and they get a slap on the wrist and they get to still go to Harvard and they still get to all this sort of stuff. And you go, and this guy, Black guy who smoked weed, and he goes to prison for life. That's not fair. But the 3 strikes law does not say Black people who smoke weed need to go to prison for life, and white people who go to Harvard who rape people, they don't get. It doesn't say that. That was the application of racist people and shitty systemic racism. But the law itself, I don't think the writers of the law expected it to be. I think a lot of people write laws, even the 94 crime bill. I think people thought, hey, this is a good bill that's going to stop assault rifles and stop people from killing each other. And I think a lot of people had good intentions. Hey, we need to stop these crazy crimes. We here in LA, gang violence was fucking nuts. You can ask Ty, my neighborhood is like nice now. It's like crazy. When I moved into my neighborhood, he wouldn't come to my house.
I didn't even like going to his neighborhood.
Because people would get, I'm not even kidding you. People used to get, we had to get shot on my fucking front lawn. Like, I mean, in front of my fucking house. Like, I would come home once a month, maybe once every couple of weeks, and I wouldn't get to be able to get to my house because it would be closed off at night from a drive-by or from somebody getting killed. I mean, all the fucking time. And that's what those laws were for. But yes, they had racist consequences. But I'm saying to assume that the people who were behind it necessarily had racist intentions because of the way it worked out. I just don't think that's fair. And I think we have to look at them now when they've said, yeah, I agree that was bad. Let's pull away from that. Let's not do that. Let's change it. We should be applauding them for doing that, not condemning them for something they did 30 years ago that had, and say, well, they must have been racist because they wrote the 94 crime bill. I mean, what else has Biden done that's racist? I mean, look at Trump. Trump is a fucking racist.
Well, this is, I actually want to ask, so you said something I want to, because people have mentioned the third party, and I've heard you mention it before, Paul, like, and Ian and I were talking about, they just did a poll where they said, well, if Gavin Newsom went against Trump, that Trump would win. And Ian will explain the poll here in a second, you guys. By the way, thank you for everybody that's rocking with us. We wouldn't do the show without you. Curtis, Tammy, Tam, JE as usual. What's up, everybody? Sean, what up? Corey, what up? Jack. And we're joined by special guest Paula Bell. If you have any questions for any comments, huh?
I said, thank you for coming on, Paul. I'm
reading.
reading.
Oh, yes. So if you guys have any questions or comments for her, please, she's here to talk right back to you. So I wanted to ask you this. So realistically, where we are in 2024, we know this for a fact. As Ian was saying, one dude still believes in this country being here after he leaves. This is a dude that believes in free and fair elections. This is a guy who believes in democracy. This is a guy who actually started out when he started this term, he tried to bring both sides of the aisle together. And then the MAGA just said, fuck it, we're not dealing with you. And he's met, I don't want to say unprecedented resistance because Obama was off the charts, but so we have that guy. And then we have a guy here who is polling high, is supported by every single hate group in America, wants to get rid of reproductive rights for women.
He did.
Yeah, exactly. Nationwide. Has given money to billionaires only. Is a lying, corrupt piece of shit that I'm talking about. Like, you couldn't write a movie villain this bad. That's what we have of those two. You mentioned a third party. What third party candidate, I guess a two-part question. What third party candidate do you think would interject enough to win? Because again, if it doesn't go to Biden, it's going to Trump. And if it goes to Trump, that's the end of America. And that's not hyperbolic.
And you don't think the end of America would come with Biden?
It hasn't happened yet.
But that
in fact, we have the greatest economic recovery of any country.
Happen.
But
Paul, why would it happen? Hold up, why would it happen?
But
I mean, easily look what the end has been with Biden, with Israel, with the. I mean,
explain that.
It can't happen with indiscriminate bombing.
Wait, but Joe Biden,
not calling for a ceasefire.
He actually has called for a ceasefire multiple times. What do you think Trump is?
I'm sorry. When did Biden call for a ceasefire?
He's called for the two-party solution. He's actually called out Netanyahu for
another ceasefire.
He has called out for a ceasefire multiple times, and he's also tried to get Netanyahu.
We're talking about Biden now.
Joe Biden, yes, but also you have to realize
they just vetoed the last ceasefire.
He vetoed it?
Yeah, the U.S. vetoed it.
The U.S. vetoed a ceasefire that has nothing to do with the U.S.
With Israel, with the bombing in Israel, with the genocide, ceasefire.
But
I'm gonna look that up. Joe Biden vetoed a ceasefire.
Yeah, go ahead.
Never heard this before.
But I have to come back and ask this question.
But either way, I don't know what was in this. What was in this one you're talking about. But what do you think Trump? So the only side that is, but here's the other thing. Okay, so let's say that's true.
But let me ask you. I have to answer this because so we don't lose track of what she just said. What has Joe Biden done in America to make you think that he wants the end of America? What has he done here?
Well, it's not that he wants the end of America, it's what's going to happen.
And what is that?
Well, people could rise up against a lot of things about Biden that he has done. And the last being not calling for a ceasefire for
No, wait, no. Paul, what I'm asking you is, the things that affect us here right now in America right now are voting rights, gun safety, healthcare, free and fair elections, making
What
sure
gun safety? There's shootings every day. What
No,
gun safety is
and
there?
you know why but you know why that happens, because there's one party that is totally resistant to any kind of significant gun laws, and it's not the Democrats. So, but hold on. So you have those issues here. You have people that need jobs here. You have people that need all of these things here. So there's one guy in office right now that has brought jobs back when people thought we were on the verge of a recession, a collapse. He brought the jobs back. He created insulin caps, infrastructure, the CHIPS Act, PACT Act. He invested in HBCUs more than the last dude that was in office, so that helps Black and brown people. And also, he made it to they're trying student loan debt forgiveness, and this guy is trying to make sure that these people get more money per minimum wage.
Student loan debt forgiveness, student loan, you have to have a loan of $12,000 or less, and you have to have this loan for over 10 years. What? Who would he help?
But Paula, did
okay, but hold up.
I listed a bunch of things that benefited more than people with student debt. So that's one. I listed a bunch of stuff.
I know. I just had.
But can I?
Go ahead.
Okay, but so first off, the bill didn't say that. You're doing what Republicans do with.
No, I read that yesterday. I read that.
Let me finish my sentence. The bill did not say that. Just like the first 9 iterations of the ACA didn't say what Obamacare is now. We had a single payer, we had a public option, we had all sorts of options. They all got vetoed and shut down until they negotiated to what we got, which was the best fucking thing we could get. The original bill was people with $50,000 debt, and it was people who make under $200,000 a year, and that was the original bill. It got shut down by the Republicans and a couple of Democrats, like Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinnebuns, and they shut it down. So this was the compromise. The other option is no student loan debt relief. So yes, it's not the best, but it's something, and it's a step in the right direction. And if we had a majority of votes on the left, it would have been passed the way it was introduced, which was by Biden. Biden didn't come in and go, "Here's my bill. Hey guys, don't pretend to not vote on it, and then I'll lower it to $12,000." The bill was $50,000. The bill was as it was, just like the ACA was as it was. And due to people not voting for it, they kept having to change it to get something that was passable. They even took it to the fucking Supreme Court to try to overturn it. But so they had to do something that was passable. I would rather have people who have $12,000 worth of debt get their debt loan relief than nobody. I mean, that's bizarre to me. But even so, where on the right has somebody suggested this? And why? Let's say we had Bernie Sanders' liberal cousin as president right now. How would they have gotten it passed? It wasn't Biden that vetoed it. Biden was the one that put it forward. And they changed it and came back with this and said, "This is what we'll give you." And he said, "Okay, fine, I'll take it." Like, I don't know how anybody else would have done anything differently. How would have AOC, who I love, if AOC was president, how would she have gotten it past the Republican House?
Go ahead, Paula.
I'm listening, but I think it's just crumbs. I think Biden is throwing out crumbs. He knows his numbers are dwindling. You have to. I did read that yesterday, though. There's.
Wait, what do you mean by throwing out crumbs?
I believe. What?
What? Can you explain what he's throwing out crumbs? I don't know what that means.
I think he's just let me help quick with the college loans and get this out there. But there's 4 stipulations, and 2 of them were that you had to have 12,000 or less. You had to be already signed up to something that had to do with this loan.
Yeah, that's what got passed. But you hold up. You realize that this. So he was throwing out.
Okay,
crumbs,
so
but his numbers were dwindling before, but this was on his platform before he ran, before he was nominated. So why was he throwing out crumbs? Because his numbers are dwindling before he got elected in 2020. Because this was on a much better plan was on his platform.
He wanted to do it day one.
Chad
He literally said day one, $50,000 or less.
Chad says here, the 10 years applies to public service loan forgiveness. So, but again, I just want us to stay in the same frame here for a second, because we've been on now for about 36 minutes and we've mentioned the two candidates, by the way, and you haven't said a single negative thing about Trump. Not a single thing.
Me?
You haven't.
Well,
You-
I mean, what you
what's
told us
positive
to say about him? Seriously, what's positive to say?
I know, but that's my point, Paula, is that this is who we're going to have. It's going to come down to
it's a shit show. It's a shit show.
Right. But again, first of all, I think people equating these two is part of the problem. Like, let me just give you a hypothetical as a comedian that's you've been around for a while, 30 plus years. You know how to rock a stage. You've been around the greats. Let's say you know how to tell jokes. You're hilarious. You know how to rock a crowd. You've rocked a bunch of different crowds and all of that, blah, blah, blah. Somebody sees you and they see you flub a joke. But the rest of the show is cool. People enjoyed the show.
Mm-hmm.
A young comic comes along, a younger comic comes along, the boobs is out and everything like that. She's not even a fraction as funny as you. And then they say, well, yeah, Paula's funny, but that chick right there, she seems like she has more zest. Do you just accept that, or do you want people to know, like, no, I can do the job? It has nothing to do with the age. It has nothing to do with that. This is why I listed everything that Biden has done. Because people keep saying, I can see if Biden hadn't accomplished anything. Then people could say, well, shit, what has he done? I gave you a list of things, and that was just off the top of my head. I didn't even go to the site. But if you go to the site, you see these other things that have been accomplished. And what I'm having a hard time trying to understand, and why I wanted you on the show, was I constantly see people shitting on Biden while he's getting shit done. He's getting shit done for the people. Do you have anybody in your family, friends, or anything that are diabetics?
Yes.
Right. Guess what? Their insulin is now affordable because of Biden, not Trump. The people who have their goods delivered, that's because the roads get fixed because of Biden, not Trump. The people in the unions that want to make sure that their unions are protected and their rights are protected, that's because of Biden, not Trump. These are all accomplishments. And again, I get it. Let me be clear. Biden is not my perfect choice. But if you gave me a choice between that guy and the guy that's trying to get back in office, I just don't understand why people are still equating these two after everything that other guy did. That other guy cost 1 million people their lives by deliberately lying to their faces. Biden didn't do that. So I'm just trying to figure out, and it's a sincere question. Why don't people like you see that and say, it's gonna come down to these two?
Like
I'm
me,
gonna go
like you. I mean, because you said I hadn't said anything about Trump. Trump is
Well, because when I say people like you, I mean people that are either one making false equivalences.
No, I shit on Trump every night on stage. I've shit on him since he came out. I mean, I that's all I do, but I'm actually tired of the jokes. I have to write more. But no, Trump wasn't ever even a politician, or to me a candidate that should have been. He was a reality star. I mean, come on. Right. We all know how he got over and how he keeps getting over with this country and who in this country votes for him. I mean,
but the question is that there's only two viable candidates. And and there is a third candidate who's a fucking beyond nut. And that's Robert F. Kennedy. That guy's a fucking clown, crazy person. It's QAnon nut, anti-vax goofball.
Well, there's a reason the universe has taken away his voice.
But my point is that the only way to get a viable so it's not that we don't have third parties. It's that there's no viable third parties because of the way our voting system works. We need a ranked choice voting system, and we need to get rid of Citizens United so that so the corporations can't dump billions and billions of dollars into one candidate. The only side that's even talking about this is the left. The only side that's proposed it is the left. Biden ended up being way more progressive than anyone thought. So many of my progressive friends are like, "Oh, no idea it was going to be that progressive." So I don't understand. Like with Trump, we have no more voting. We probably don't have an election again. Like that's very simple. If we keep pushing the left and we keep getting more people in the House and in the Senate and keep getting Democrats in office, we will eventually be able to push for ranked choice voting. They did it in a couple of states actually. We can push. They do something similar in California. They did in Alaska, out of all places, which is fucking weird. And it got a Democrat elected, by the way, in a fucking very red state. And that's probably why they'll probably get rid of it once they realize, oh shit, ranked choice got a Democrat voted in a red state. But we can get to ranked choice. But we can't do it with this minority rule, with the way the Senate runs. And if we have no more elections because Trump's in office and he's now dictator, which is what he says he's going to do, and which is what his people want. If that's the case, then we don't get to vote anymore anyway. So third party, how about two parties? So I don't understand if you're down to, yes, it's either choice A or choice B. Yes, I want choice C and D, but I know that those aren't going to happen. So I can either not show up and give it to the fucking shit sandwich, or I can show up and live another day to fight a battle. I don't understand why this is even a question. And if the answer is, oh, well, because Biden supports Israel. Of the veto, I just read about it. He stated the reason he vetoed it is because it didn't provide a way to get the hostages back. And 13 of the 15, one didn't vote. 13 of the 15 countries voted against it. So we were only one of 4 out of 14 people who voted. Only one voted for that because it didn't. The ceasefire didn't have the provisions that they needed in order to secure the safety of people, of hostages. So it's not because Biden wants a genocide, but the fact is that the right wing and Trump are so far up Netanyahu's ass that it's laughable that anyone thinks that Biden is worse on Israel than Trump. That's fucking crazy to me.
Trump was horrible with Israel. Trump was the fucking worst. And
right, so why put him back in office?
But Biden's loyalty to Netanyahu is exactly level with Trump.
So it is not though. That's hyperbole.
You can't tell me otherwise.
But see, that's what I mean.
You're not willing to listen though, because that's
Blinken's
not true.
Taken over.
But that's not true.
But that's what I mean by these equivalences that you're putting with these two. And you know what?
But we also don't live in Israel. We live here.
I know, and
gay people and black people who can't fucking. Slavery doesn't exist anymore.
So here's the thing. Let me lay it out for you again as a black man. Only one of these candidates, Paula, only one. If it has support groups that hate me, they hate me. So if that guy gets back in, see, it's different for you. You're a white woman in this country. At the end of the day, I'm not saying that you believe that at all. I'm saying they won't come after you the same way they'll come after me.
Oh no, I totally hear you.
So,
I get what you're saying. I get it.
So when I say this to people, I'm like, of these two people.
So you're just giving me of these two people.
Right,
but both of you are stating that the third party is.
But this is why I asked
that
you.
Nobody in the third party will win.
But no. This is okay. So this is
when was the last time?
I tell you what. Here's what we'll do. I want to know who you would think would win as a third party candidate. Ian, I want you to tell everybody about the Gavin Newsom thing really quick. I want to read these comments because I want to ask our viewers the same thing. Anybody out there, let's just play the third party game for a second.
There's only one valuable third party candidate out there right now, and that is Robert F. Kennedy.
Okay.
Robert F. Kennedy used to be a Democrat, but he's so far right wing now, he's almost as bad as Trump. he actually peels off some of the Trump vote because he's so fucking crazy with his QAnon conspiracies. He's a crazy person. And
who would be your third
but
party?
when he enters the race, Biden loses.
Right. So this is
He doesn't help the third party. He elects Trump when he's in the race. We know for a fact that Hillary, who probably would have been fucking one of the best presidents we've all had. By the way, I will just read in a second, The Independent, the 195 historians and scholars just ranked the presidents, Republicans and Democrats, ranked the presidents. Biden was 14th, Trump was last. And he was 43rd on Republicans' list. So he was very low. But when you look at what stopped, we wouldn't have had George W. Bush if we didn't have Ralph Nader. We wouldn't have had Trump if we didn't have the Russian butter email shit, and if we didn't have Jill Stein and these people taking off that 1%, which they know for a fact happened. They know for a fact because the percentage she got in those states siphoned off was just enough for those 88,000 votes that cost her the election. We would have had Hillary, not Trump. We wouldn't even be here today. We wouldn't even be talking about this today. And we would have a Supreme Court that wouldn't be 6-3 with fascists. We wouldn't have women who can't even get. Yesterday, Alabama, you can't even get in vitro now. You can't even get IVF, in vitro fertilization, because you're killing the fetuses. It's fucking crazy. That's because of Trump. That's because of Jill Stein. That's because of people who didn't vote for Hillary and they sat down because the lesser of two evils. Oh, really? One who's a fucking brilliant woman who's done tons of shit for people, who has empathy and who is smart, versus a fucking 2-bit fucking misogynistic racist game show host. And that was the lesser of two evils. And we didn't even we sat on our hands and let that guy fucking give us a 6-3 Supreme Court. Like, and now we sit on our hands and he knows how to make sure that January 6th happens this time. So I don't understand how this is. I don't understand how it's an issue that, yes, the only viable third party candidate is Robert F. Kennedy, who gives Trump the win. And if he were the guy, let's say we all said, let's vote for third party. Let's vote for Robert Kennedy. Really? We want Robert F. Kennedy? We want the fucking anti-vax goofball, like worse spray tan than fucking Trump? We want that guy? I mean, who's a viable third party candidate that can
win? I really want to know that, Paula. Like, so say
that could win.
Well, no. How about a viable third party candidate? Let's start there first. Who's one that we like that wants to be president?
I like Cornel West.
No.
I do.
Let me tell you. Let me
That's
from
my mom's old hippie days, but
here's where I would say Cornel West back in the Public Enemy days, where he was just radical. Yes. Maybe Cornel West then, because Cornel West now has morphed into something else. But even still, we got to think about Middle America. That's this again. We're all we're talking about right now is who could actually win. Because if you don't want either of these two, we're talking about who can actually.
But even if he could win, Cornel West. When I agree with Cornel West, he's right on. But he goes wacky on some shit. He goes really fucking wacky on some shit, and I'm just like, because he's on Bill Maher a lot.
Because after Trump, I mean, we've heard the weirdest, fucking wildest, wackiest shit that doesn't even. I mean,
I also don't like anybody that's although that's my biggest gripe with Biden is that he's so religious. Cornel West might be more religious than Biden, and that's the only thing I like about Trump.
We have to stop. We have to stop all of that. And I want to get some more comments here in a second. We have to stop.
Jon Stewart. There you go.
Hey, you know what? We always say
I'd vote for Jon Stewart.
I would go Jon Stewart. Al Franken was another one. I'm still pissed.
Al Franken should never have given up his seat. I don't know what he was doing.
100% on that one.
Yep,
100% on that one.
I know.
High five on that one, Paul.
Ever. That was like a comic giving up his mic. He should have just sat down and fucking grinned and bear it.
Especially now knowing what people would put up with. He definitely should have stayed. But I think a lot of it comes down to, like I said, it is going to come down to these two old dudes.
Oh, hell.
But here's the thing though, and I can't stress this enough. It's worse. It would be worse now if he got in now than it was in 2016. Or
Oh,
20,
it's,
it
I
would
mean,
happen
I
because
don't even like to fathom it because what the fuck is gonna happen?
Well, here's the thing though.
Seriously.
but this
they're
is why.
forcing. Go ahead. Sorry, John.
But this is why I want people to understand this, because I want more conversations like we're having now. Because
Yeah.
we can't reach Trump supporters. They're gone. They are already
They've
over the
been
cliff.
gone.
They are gone. But what I want people to understand that because you're okay. Let me. I understand what you want to do with the system. The system itself needs to be fixed. You are 1,000% right about that. This ain't the time to fix it.
And Trump ain't gonna fix it.
You're saying just deal with the here and now. That's what you're.
Because Ian says it a lot on the show. If we don't deal with the here and now right now with these two and make sure that one guy does not get in, there won't be a later. There won't be a later.
There is no tomorrow, Rock.
Throw in the goddamn towel.
But also not only that, I also don't understand. I mean, I don't understand. Like Ty said, we had the Chips and Science Act, we had the Infrastructure Act. He got 30 years. We've been trying to get Medicare to be able to negotiate for drugs, for drug prices against the big pharma. And Joe Biden got that done. 30 years we've been trying. 30 years we failed. He got that done with 51 fucking senators and a razor thin fucking majority when he had it in the House. He doesn't have it anymore. He wouldn't get it passed now. He got that passed. There are 10 now. I know people go, there's only 10 medications. Yes, that's all they could get passed, but it's the 10 most prescribed medications for old people. So we got old people their drugs at a way reduced price and covered for by Medicare.
In all seriousness, those old people need to get in their box. They don't need to be preserved anymore. It's time's up.
But look,
we never live this long.
We need people to be able to get insulin. I know you're joking, but it's like we need these things. So he has done a phenomenal job.
That's what we need. Look at how old both of them are. Besides,
right? So who? And let's look at who would be. That I was just going to say, in the history in the last 10 years, or maybe 12 at this point. I have to look. There are 4. If you look at the voting records, there's a website. I can't remember. Someone can remember voting something off the top of my head that gives you the voting record and ranks them by left, right, center, by numbers on what they voted for in the Senate. And there's a top 10 in the Senate, and in the top 5, even though she's not even there anymore, for voting record, progressive left-wing voting record, you have. Bernie Sanders is always up there, although he actually is lower, believe it or not, than some. But we have who's the top? Who's the guy? Who's the Sherrod? Is always up there. With the other one with the Japanese last name. Somebody can remind me the other senator, I think from Hawaii. There are 3 or 4 that are always in the top. And of the voting record, Kamala Harris has been in the top 5 as a senator. She has the top 5 most liberal voting record in history. And she's our second in line. Whereas on Trump's side, who would be second in line at this point? We don't know who he's going to be. It's going to be fucking, and Trump is in worse shape than Biden. Let's be honest. Biden rides a bike every day. Yeah, Biden fell off his bike once. Guess what? I fell off my bike last time I rode it fucking too. So, and I'm in pretty decent shape. Biden rides his fucking bike. He exercises. He does fucking push-ups. Like, he has a stutter and he stumbled.
I mean,
Trump's a fucking
he's done that.
Head kick. Was that?
I don't think he's exercising anymore. He walks in like he can barely, like it's weekend at Bernie's. He's like,
no, he rides his bike every day.
Again, and see now where people what I don't want to happen
off his bike. Remember?
What I don't want to happen is for people to make the same mistake that they did with Hillary Clinton, and that's going off of who's the one that seems more cool. I don't give a fuck who's cool. I want the person that's going to do the job. Right now, Biden is getting the job done. And that's what, and again, we would be having a totally different conversation if those accomplishments hadn't happened. They've happened. They're happening. They're happening so much so that Trump told Republicans to kill a border deal that he said that they say kills 300,000 Americans a day or a year, whatever it's going to be. He told them to kill the bill because he wouldn't have had anything to run on. Now, if the economy was shitty, he'd be able to run on the economy being shitty. It's not. If gas prices were the thing, he'd be able to run on that. He can't run on that. If it was infrastructure, if it was inflation, if it was all the shit, unemployment, he can't run on any of that because Biden, the old guy, the other old guy, is getting shit done. I just don't understand why people are not looking at that. That's why I gave you the analogy of being a stand-up with a certain skill set that a certain.
This is in August.
Okay, I didn't need to.
I'm just saying, this is in August.
Then how come he can barely walk?
Because you're seeing memes and Fox News clips
No,
where they're trying to make
I don't watch Fox News.
I'm saying whoever's sharing those clips, whoever's sharing those clips, I don't see barely not walking.
But even still, I know we're joking about it now, but people have to understand something. Paula, the reason why, and you may not care about this because I don't know if you're trying to have a kid or not, but there are women out there trying to have a kid or not trying to have a kid. They want that freedom. That freedom was taken away. Biden's not responsible for that freedom being taken away. So even after we're all gone, there are going to be young women out there that are going to feel the ramifications of what that guy did when he was in office. And that's the thing that I don't care about how Biden walks. I could care less.
I get what you're saying. I get it. But I just, yeah, I mean,
I just think it's hard. I just think it's hard to, if it wasn't this dire, if it wasn't.
I see that you see clearly. Well, I don't even want to say the lesser evil because it doesn't sound like. I don't think evil in Biden.
I don't think.
Wait. Let me be really clear. There is not one single president ever that has ever been perfect. But this is the first time ever that you've ever, because it's funny you use the word evil. This is the first time you've seen a dude that you see is clearly fucking evil. So this is not the lesser of two evils. This is choosing between.
I see them both as evil. I do.
What's evil about
that's not fair.
As having their evil traits, I do.
Hold up. So what? Everybody has bad. Everybody in the world, including all three of us sitting here, have bad things.
I have it. Everybody has it.
I don't know that evil. I guess we'd have to define what evil is. Biden is like, the worst part about him is that he's like a goofy dad type. Like, to me, like, what is evil about Joe Biden? I can't. What is one bill he's passed or one thing he's said that you would say is evil?
I do think he's evil.
I'm asking like what? Like what? Based off what?
I think being a self-proclaimed Zionist is evil.
So we're coming back to the Palestine thing.
No, just a Zionist. That's just a racist, bigoted, evil person. That's what it is. So. In my view, you asked me my opinion.
No. That's you're right. You're right. I did ask you that.
And evil is a racist, evil, bigoted person to me.
But the other person,
although Islam is not a race, and both groups are Semitic. I mean, Palestine and Jews are the same exact people. They just have a different religion.
I wasn't talking. I think he is racist against black and brown people. I really.
But based on what? I mean, I could say I think you're racist, but that doesn't mean I'm not saying I say that.
Okay.
But no, I'm not saying I'm saying that. I'm saying we can say anything we want.
Tit for tat. I'm just saying that's what I do think of him after reading about things that he's like that bill incarcerating black and brown people. I don't think a politician changes their stripes. I think they bullshit a little bit more this way or that way, but I don't.
That is not. See, I can't vibe.
That's okay. You don't.
But see, when people say that, this is what trips me out when people say that part, and they say, well, people can't change or people don't change, politicians don't change. If you're around people,
I think people can change. I correct
right?
it.
But
I
that's
do.
what I'm
But I
saying.
don't think politicians do. I
It-
think they lie and bullshit.
they are one and the same. It goes back to what Ian was saying about the crime bill legislation versus how it was enacted by the people. If something was written and then you say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and those people take it a certain way and they apply it that way, that's because those people want it to be that way. Growing up in Chicago, I got to be honest with you. Growing up in Chicago, Ian and I would not have been friends. Not because I hated white people, but because I just wasn't friends with any white people. I didn't see a reason to be friends with them. I see you at school. I see you when I see you. There's no reason to be friends with them. Leaving Chicago, joining the military, being around people that look different than me, and having to learn each other's cultures and all these different things opened my mind to things, to where now Ian is one of my closest friends for over 2 decades, at least. So to me, when you say people don't change or people can't change, it doesn't matter whether it's politics is the job. The human being in you is what matters in the job. So if Joe Biden said something or did something, then okay, like I said, it had flaws. The bill had flaws. But if you're asking me which of these two dudes would I think, because again, let's just focus
Or would
on.
you trust? You would trust Biden?
I wouldn't trust that other dude
Right.
with anything. But also, you got to understand something. We got to look down the road. Then this is why I can't stress this enough.
Right. You're looking
other
at the
guy-
future generation.
That's all I'm saying, because think about it.
What about climate change? That alone, I mean, we can't.
Hold on,
ignore
really
climate
quick,
change.
really quick. Look at all of the rise in hate crimes. Speaking of the people in Israel, when they were saying Jews will not replace us, they weren't saying Jews will not replace us, except certain ones. They weren't doing that. They were like, all Jews, we don't like you. All blacks, we don't like you. All gays, we don't like you. All trans, we don't like you. Certain women, we don't like you either. So
Black lives don't matter.
exactly. So it is a bigger picture that I think people keep missing because they keep harping on this dude, what he did in 94.
And also like this idea that people can change, but politicians can't. Well, politicians are people. Tam says, he goes, you should Google Martin McGuinness and Ian Paisley. Both of them changed. Krista says, I was a devoted religious 30 years ago. People change a lot when they grow up. 20 to 45
I
are big
did
change
say
years.
people change, but I don't think politicians change their politics. I just
But they do. Okay, look at Robert Byrd. Speaking of Joe Biden, Robert Byrd was a KKK leader, Grand Wizard. He became a civil rights figure, partly through his friendship with Joe Biden. So Robert, which is why people always point to, they go, Joe Biden used to be friends with Robert Byrd. Yeah. After Robert Byrd became a civil rights leader, but Robert Byrd used to be a fucking KKK Grand Wizard. And he ended up becoming friends with and becoming a civil rights leader with
you guys have more trust than I do, I guess.
Well, it's
non-trusting person.
But I think it's a combination of things, though, Paula. To be totally honest with you, it's a combination of. I trust Joe Biden with the country. I do.
Okay.
Because he hasn't shown me anything otherwise. The other guy, and again, we are talking about the choice we are going to have. That's
Right.
it. Now, I think even Joe Biden said it himself. He said if Trump wasn't running, he wouldn't run. But he knows what's at stake. And Ian, did you talk about Gavin Newsom yet?
Just a little bit that I did talk about, and this is actually unfortunately with Biden as well, but yeah, Biden polls better than. I like Gavin Newsom. I'd love to see him. And I don't believe those polls. I think polls are stupid. And I think the 12% undecided is the problem. But yeah, so Biden does 4% better than Gavin Newsom. He does 8% better than Gretchen Whitmer. He does better than all of them against Trump, probably because of his track record. But the third party is what screws us over. The good news of all that is that every single poll shows Trump at 45%, 44 to 46, I think is around there. He's never gone above 46%. And then Biden will be 37%. And then the next one will be 48%. And then the next one will be 32%. And then because of how they're polling people, but also because that's, if you add that up, you go, wait, 45 and 32, that's not 100%. Oh yeah, there's 18% that are undecided. It's like, okay, well, that's ridiculous. But when the thing is that Trump never goes above that, because those 45% they're in the cult. They're going to die for Trump. Mm-hmm. And it's, landline phone calls. People have landlines or old racist people. So when they call, that 45% is always like Trump.
All old racist people have a rotary phone.
No, I'm just joking. But they do polls by for the most of these polls are done with landlines, and so many younger people don't even have a landline. Right.
I didn't even think there were landlines still left.
That's how most polls are done.
My grandma still has one.
Yeah,
that's insanity.
That's how most polls are done. That or internet. And the problem with the internet is that, again, you get down, the algorithms are designed to send you down they're designed to sell you stuff. But because of that, if you click on something, they send more of it. Eventually you create your own bubble, left and right, whatever. There's always bubbles created. So if you get your information online, it's always going to be skewed to what you are. It's always going to be confirmation bias. So when they do polls online or they do phone calls, it skews heavy to the right. And we can see this because all the polls in the last few elections were dead even, but yet Kentucky voted on the side of pro-choice. So did Kansas. Andy Beshear won. They said he was going to lose, and he won by a bigger margin this time than he did the first time, a Democrat in Kansas, because of the abortion issue. Because women are fed up with what's going on. So I think that, I keep saying, first off, we need to put a ballot in every state that's a purple state that's about abortion or weed, so that left-wing people show up. But
do you smoke, Paula?
I don't. I
Neither
like edibles.
Yeah. Me
edibles.
I do both. Ian doesn't do either. I do both.
Ian doesn't seem like he does either.
No. Ian's thing is rarely Fireball. Rarely. That's
a Fireball.
Fireball. Yeah. If you catch him,
that's just me. That's me. That's just me and Leanne when we're
like he has a lot of clarity and it's zinging.
Well, here's again, like I said, we wanted to do more shows like this because I think there are a certain amount of people that just can't be reached. They are where they are, and they're there for a reason, and they're just going to be there. But I think, and I'll give you a quick just history of the show. We started the show because we thought we were just going to say funny shit. We were just going to talk funny shit, comedians. That was it. And it morphed into what it is now. And our audience, again, thank you guys, by the way, for rocking with us. If you have any questions or comments for Paula, please address her now. And then it morphed into this show. And I think politically, we are obligated now to do this. Now, I don't know where we're going to be. So say he doesn't get in. Say the monster doesn't get back in. I don't know where the show is going to go from there. It'll still be politics, but it won't be as hostile. It won't be as dangerous. It won't be, you know what I'm saying? It won't be
so hard.
I'll tell you before, and this is just from an older white woman, where she goes. She goes to the nail shop, right? And before Trump got in after Obama, right before, there were women my age in the nail shop, and I was fucking blown away. I mean, it almost got into a altercation. But the lady sitting next to me, and I live in LA, a very blue collar part of LA. So this lady sat next to me and the screens were on and Obama was up there. And then Trump came on and she lit up. She was like, oh, like she was at a rock concert, you know what I mean? So I was watching her watch Trump and she was like, yeah, this is going to be great. Enough of this kumbaya shit. So that's, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, that was my first, I was like, whoa, like, when you're kind of hippity dippity, which is what I consider myself, you're kind of like taken aback when you see people so gung-ho for somebody like a Trump. You're just like, but see, that was the feeling. So when you say, you just mentioned when you were speaking, violent and you said a certain word that reminded me of that, like
Well,
like they're, you know what I'm saying? They're
but that's
fucking maniacal.
but that's what I think is in because Curtis says here Ty Barnett is good as fuck at being patient, at being a patient moderator and host. Well, because again, you know, you guys have seen me get heated about certain things. That's not what this situation is. This situation is about reaching people and helping them understand and helping us all understand what we're dealing with and what we're up against, because they're not the same person. They're not the same party. This is not something where it's not going to be different. It's one of the weirdest things to me that this dude goes to court every fucking week. Every week he goes to court. And we're still sitting here thinking that this dude is going to get in. That should never fucking happen.
No, my sister said this morning, what he came out unscathed again, like he's never gonna, these lawsuits just keep rolling out.
No, but see now this is why we have to have conversations like this. The reason why it seems like he is because people have tried to normalize a horrible person. And instead of saying, no, that's a horrible person who shouldn't even be in the conversation of this, that's where we're fucking up. We're fucking it up because we're making it like, when we're sitting here debating like, okay, well, do we really want to enforce the Constitution? It's the fucking Constitution. Yes, we want to enforce it. That's exactly what we should do. That's what it's written for. But when you have people to say, well, if you take them off the ballot, man, it's going to be a slippery slope. I don't give a fuck if you put Jello on the goddamn slope. He should not be on the ballot. But again, it's not him getting away with it. It's because people, for some reason, act like they don't know how to enforce it. And when they don't do that, that's what sets the slippery slope.
But I think people perceive it like that because they just see him coming in and out of court, another, 300 mil, another 80 mil for this. You know what I'm saying? I think, and my sister's just a housewife, lives in her house, just, you know, does whatever. But I think to her, she just sees him never being punished. You know what I'm saying?
He will be punished. It's just a matter of people not being afraid. We talk about this all the time. I think it was 2 or 3 shows ago. Ian and we were talking about this, and Ian, I think he said something to the effect of, he said that his supporters make you think like they're going to do something, but they don't. They're pussies. So
yeah, and the thing is that, you know, it's frustrating because he is slippery. He has been able to get out of a lot of stuff, and he doesn't really get out of a lot of it. He gets convicted and he has to pay. He just files bankruptcy, and
right.
But this time he can't.
And appeals.
Right, and this time he can't. The judge said it's already interest being accrued every day he doesn't pay the $355 million. So he's almost on the hook. I saw yesterday for $600 million if you add up all of his stuff and his penalties.
Does he even have that money?
No, of course he doesn't. But he's gonna have to. Hopefully, it'll just fucking bankrupt his ass. And he can't use. There's rules now. He can't use funding for it. But even some of the funding, the crowdfunding, whatever, he can't do that. But also some of his the campaign funds, he's not allowed to use, and he only raised like $50 million for these legal fees, so he's not going to be able to do anything with it. But the thing is that it takes time to build a case, and Jack Smith wanted it ironclad, Fani Willis wanted it ironclad, and that's why it took him a while. And people are like, oh, it takes a while, and also we keep buying into this narrative. I am not one of these, the media this and the media that, but the media does do 1 or 2 things that are annoying as fuck. One of those is that they go with it leads, it bleeds, right? Or it bleeds, it leads. So when they go with the sensationalism, even the left wing, all of them go with sensationalism, and they go with what's going to get them clicks and ratings. And that drives me batshit, because what happens is they say the same narrative, and it's just like Trump lying, and eventually you believe the lie because the lie becomes truth. The media does this where they say stuff like it's like we're talking about, like you were like, and I'm not trying to not disparage you, but it's a trope. Biden can't do this, and Biden's old, and Biden can't even walk down that. Biden can do this, and it's like, why? Because the media keeps saying that. But if the media was doing it for Trump, Trump can't complete a sentence. Trump thinks that there were airports in 1776. Look at Biden riding his bike. if they had done that narrative, we'd be speaking a different, but they throw this narrative at you and they repeat it over and over and over.
Well, he was also speaking to Mitterrand the other day, who died here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Then soon it'll be Napoleon. I mean, they do capture certain moments. You have to.
No, I'm just saying that,
Even though they are guilty of doing what you say, I mean,
Oh,
I
for
don't
sure.
even think we should be even, you know, like Trump commenting on this and that. That shouldn't even be out there. But that's what they do.
I'm just saying that they do this stuff where they repeat things because it's a good soundbite. And then we all start going, well, this is the truth. Why is that the truth? Well, because I keep hearing it. And even the people who really try to be, no, I'm going to look this up and check. If you hear something enough, you eventually go, well, everyone's reporting this, so it must be the thing. Or you just go, well, I don't know. It sounds funny, but I keep hearing it. And that happens over and over in the media. And I think, I forgot where the point was going with what we were talking about a second ago, but
how the media is guilty, just as guilty as.
But it was before that. It was like the point you said, Ty, you had said a point. I think about something that we saw.
Well, his Trump's followers are pussies, and they're not.
Oh.
They're not dangerous like he would like them to be. Look at fucking Judge Goron. He's still alive.
That's I was going to say about the trials. We keep hearing, oh man, this guy never gets held accountable. Oh man, these trials are witch hunts. You hear these things, and even the left wing media repeat stuff like, oh, it takes a while, or oh, he's going to be, oh, that's what it was. That we shouldn't prosecute a former president because it's opening up a can of worms. You hear that all the time. Yeah. Even left-wing people are like, oh, I mean, if we do this, like with the taking them off because of the 15th Amendment, even left-wing judges were like, yes, but if we do that, then what precedence does it set? Or what precedent does it set? It sets the precedent that you can't be a fucking insurrectionist. Can we do it with anybody? No, you can't do it with anybody because they have to do insurrection. That's the thing. So it's like when the same narrative they keep doing. Oh, but if we prosecute, so the reason it took so long to get Trump prosecuted is because everyone kept going, ooh, we've never done this before. What precedent does that send if we prosecute a former president? Then we're going to go after all of our presidents if we don't like them. No, we go after the ones who've done criminal.
the ones that commit crimes. And this is what I was trying to get across here is that it's not about him getting away with stuff. It's about us normalizing his bad behavior. And again, there is no universe where both of these guys should be thought of in the same light, except age. That's where it both are old. Fine, you got that. But everything else, they're not even in the same atmosphere. One dude is dangerous, and I can't even overstate that. He's dangerous, and not just dangerous to individuals, but as a country. No one has ever come along, Paula, no one, not a single person in history has come along and made you think that he is ready to sell America out. What do you say he owes, Ian? $600 million? If anybody's compromised, it's that motherfucker. Anybody. We talking about a dude who stole classified documents. He has a judge in his pocket in Florida that's helping him delay this fucking case. You don't think that dude can't wait to sell some of that shit to Putin to get himself out of this? All I'm saying to people is, if you guys want to push third party after we, it's like the Scary Movie. That's what we are right now. We're at the Scary Movie. You got to chop Jason's head off. That's all. Just got to chop it off one more time. And then after that,
just stab him a little and run.
That's it. That's all we got to do.
Can I also point something out? And this is again not just in general, because it's the talking point that we've talked about a couple times here, Paul, about the Zionists and the first off, that war has been going on since 1948. It's actually been going longer than that. And every president, we've always supported Israel, whether we agree with it or not. This time, Hamas is also fucking terrorists. So is Netanyahu. They're both fucking terrorists killing innocent people. Hamas started this particular one. And yes, they've only killed 1,200 Israelis, and Israelis have killed 29,000 Palestinians. But people keep calling it a genocide. But meanwhile, Putin has killed 383,000 Ukrainians in his attempt to take over Western Europe or Eastern Europe. 383,000. That is 10 times more Ukrainians than Palestinians. Why is that not a genocide? Why are we not so up in arms about we can't even get aid to the Ukraine that the entire world is like, if we don't help them, Putin is going to take over, and then he's going to go into Poland. He's basically trying to do what Hitler did. He's trying to reunite the USSR. We know this. Putin is crazier than Netanyahu, and they're both fucking crazy.
The Ukraine was once Russia. My grandfather was straight from Ukraine, but he called it Russia at the time, and promptly died in a coal mine here in Pennsylvania.
But they're now a free democratic society, their own country. So is the whole USSR, Czechoslovakia, Croatia. All those places were all part of the USSR at one point. They weren't part of Russia. Russia was its own state. They were part of, we used to call the USSR Russia as a whole because Russia was the capital.
So what were you saying about Biden being a Zionist?
But I'm saying we are trying to, but I'm saying we're trying to fund Ukraine so we can stop
I don't
that
think we should be
atrocity.
funding Ukraine.
Huh?
I don't think so. I don't think we should be.
I thought you were against
like funding Ukraine.
No,
Well, wait,
I don't think we should be funding Ukraine.
Oh, we should. Oh, okay.
No, she's saying she doesn't think we should.
No, I don't think we should be.
Oh.
Wait,
I think
Well, I don't
we've
understand.
funded enough.
I thought you were just saying, okay, so we have Putin, a crazy right-wing dictator who is trying to reunite the USSR, and he's basically trying to do what Hitler did.
But
He
go ahead.
He
say.
stepped into a country that was a sovereign nation and attacked them without provocation. He's blowing up schools. He's killing innocent people left and right. 383,000 Ukrainians have died.
Nobody ever said that was right. Nobody here. I never said that was right.
But so what I'm saying is but that's 10 times what's happening in Israel and in Gaza, when that's been going on since 1948. And it's been different iterations of it. They attack them, blah, blah, blah. Since and 29,000 people died. And we're up in arms about this, about, oh my God, Biden should be gone because he said he supported Netanyahu and that's genocide. But Trump supports Putin, and we are trying to stop Putin from committing genocide and from not only committing genocide, but taking over all of Europe, all of the former USSR. And we shouldn't be funding that? I don't understand that.
No, I don't think we should be. And you know what? I think we've given enough to the Ukraine. I do believe that we've given enough. And I don't think any more should be given to the Ukraine. We're not supposed to be over there policing what Putin is doing with the Ukraine.
Why?
That's not for the US. The US needs to stop policing everybody, and stop being complicit in a genocide.
But hold up, but we're not complicit in the genocide of that. All we did was you said veto.
All we did was give them all the arms and money, and 3 times giving Israel money without even having it pass.
We've been giving Israel money since 1948. They're an ally.
They're not an ally.
Well, they are technically they are an ally. But
yeah, you can say that, but they've killed Americans.
Sure.
Okay, they tried to kill us in Egypt in the Lavon affair. Look that up. They killed us on the USS Liberty and just finished paying that off, I believe, in 2016 under the table. No, I don't believe them to be, and they're a counterfeit country. They're not. I don't. It is 2 different, very different things.
But it's not. It's both us policing the world.
And it is. No, we're not policing. We're actually and you just stated, oh, we're an ally. No, we're absolutely complicit in a genocide right now.
No, we are not. First off, it's not a genocide. It's 29,000 people, and they've been doing this shit back, and they started it this time, for fuck's sake. But again, I think that they have the right to the land. I'm on the side of that. I think there's a two-state solution. I think there's ways to do this. It's not going to happen because you got two terrorist organizations in Hamas and in Netanyahu, two terrorist organizations that are fighting over bullshit.
Both are killing innocent people.
But you have a fucking dictator. So do you understand this? That and I'm not going to get upset, but this idea and that we shouldn't be police. I know it's been going on since like the Vietnam, and I was against Vietnam, even though I wasn't alive. But I mean, I was alive at the end of it. But in retrospect, I was against Vietnam and a lot of these things. But the fact is that policing people needs to be done, because if we don't help smaller countries like Taiwan and Poland and allies, first off, they don't help us when we need it. Second of all, right, that is what we do as human beings. We help other people from tyranny, from tyrants in the world. And
so you're saying the U.S. has been helpful to other countries?
To Ukraine? Fuck yes, they have been.
No, I'm talking about like Taiwan. Do you think you believe we should be over there policing Taiwan from China?
I would rather yes, because why would I want China to take over Taiwan? Why would I want?
I mean, but that's not for the U.S. to. That's China and Taiwan. That's
no, well, see, but wait, now
Taiwan is not big enough.
I just hold on. I have to. On a world stage, you do need people to help allies, and you need allies, because what's to stop Putin from, if he takes over Ukraine, what's to stop him from going further if there's nobody to stop him?
It's literally his plan.
So you know what I'm saying? So what's to stop these people from becoming worse? So
do we not remember World War II?
What's to stop them from going from, like, Trump going into Mexico, which he already said he was going to do? Why do you feel so safe here? I didn't understand that.
But no one said we feel safe here.
Wait.
We would say
with our government. That's what I'm saying. Why do you two feel so safe with our government here?
Oh, no. Wait, no. Hold on. It's not about saying that the government is perfect. I'm saying I've seen the government under that guy. I've seen the government under that guy.
I get what you're saying when you say.
But if Trump said he's going into Mexico, we wouldn't allow that to happen, and I don't think other countries should.
We wouldn't. How could you stop him if you can't stop him?
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I don't vote for him.
But that's what I mean by, like, there has humanitarianism, because again, you use the word genocide, and I understand that you don't want people dying. You shouldn't want innocent people dying. Nobody should want innocent people to die, which is why I say, if we can stop these other countries from being overrun with tyrants or wannabe dictators, then that's what we should do, because then that shows that we won't allow this to happen here, even if it happens way over there. Now, I get it. We should be concerned about shit here too. But if we just turn our back and we say, okay, well, we're not gonna, that's you guys' problem. That's like walking down the street. I see somebody trying to snatch your purse, and I'm like, I don't even carry a purse. It's not my fucking problem. But I'm like, I know you. And I see someone trying to hurt you. I see someone trying to steal from you. I don't have to do shit, but I feel like I'm obligated to, because I don't want to see somebody do something to you. So,
and then if you don't stop that guy, what's going to stop him from getting the next person? The next person, what it's your mom's purse.
To put it in comic book terms, Spider-Man did not stop the dude who robbed a booker. That dude ended up killing Uncle Ben. True story.
Look, I mean, think about it this way. Like, the way I see it, like, it's a schoolyard, elementary school. You got the sixth grader, the cool, tough sixth grader. He's a nice guy. He's the one everybody respects. Everyone loves him. He's the big buff kid, sixth grader. Then you got this other kid who's a bully. He's a sixth grader. He likes to take the third graders, stuff them in the garbage can, kick him in the dick, throw him over the thing. And we're over here going, and then that bully goes to your little brother and your friend and your little brother's little friend and this little girl that you know, first grade or second grade, and he goes and he punches the first grade girl in the face, and then he takes a little boy and smashes him into the curb, and then he takes your little brother's best friend and puts him in the garbage can, and you're like, not my problem, not my problem. And then no, you go, hey bro, don't fucking hit the little girl. Hey, don't dump my
So
little
you
brother
don't
in
see
the
the
fucking garbage
US
can.
as the bully then?
We're not the bully. Right now, right?
I think.
You think we're more of a you? So
I don't. No, not in this. No,
not in this case. No, not in this case. You think that us supporting Ukraine makes us a bully to a guy who is a dictator who is encamped gay people. He has camps for gay people, like concentration camps. He's a fucking he has said he wants to reunite the USSR. Germany has said that if he gets into there, he's going into Poland, and then they're taking a defense against that. Same thing with Taiwan. We know that if they get into Taiwan, they take over so much with ports and others of China that if they take over Taiwan, the next thing is South Korea, and they're going to have North Korea's backing. We get so, first off, not only are those our friends, we get so much from them, from South Korea and from the sovereign nations in Europe. I don't understand how you think that in the Ukraine-Russia situation that we're the bully.
No, I didn't say in the Ukraine, Russia. I just said, but you don't think as the United States as a bully? I see us as a terrible bully.
We have bullied in the past.
Yes,
and I'm against those things.
you're right. There are moments,
And you're a military person, so you must know that.
No, I that's what I said. I'm not disagreeing with the history of what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm saying in this specific case, that's not what this is. But I also say, knowing history and knowing how dictators work and how they try to literally strong arm things, this is one of those times where you got to say, hey man, we can't allow this, because if you allow these people to overrun that area, it's nothing to stop them from eventually saying, we'll come here. Look at
Why is it us that has to do it though?
But it's not us, it's all of NATO.
everybody should be in on this. Everybody should be in on
Should
this.
be in on it.
They
right?
are.
Should be.
Right, but
Again,
that's what NATO's for. And guess what?
Guess who wants us out of NATO?
One person wants us out of NATO, and it ain't Biden. And this is what I'm saying about, like,
How dangerous. I get it.
if you like that, for that guy to say, well, hey, if you don't pay your bills, let me just throw out a place. I know he didn't say it, but let's just say, hey, if you don't pay your bills, France, I'm encouraging Putin to go ahead and just do whatever the fuck he wants to do. Say
Right.
you're vacationing in Paris, and the dude just told, oh boy, yeah, go over there and bomb the shit out of Paris because you don't pay your bills. Not only does it put your life in danger, it puts the life of other soldiers that are stationed there. And this is, I'm just saying,
why do we care so much about the Palestinians? I love Palestine. I have no problem with them, but I'm like, we can't be all up in arms that innocent people are dying. 29,000 innocent people have died, but we don't give a fuck about 383 innocent.
Way more than 29,000 since the
29,000
died. And we should
29,000.
absolutely give a fuck about the Palestinians.
Right.
They're an indigenous people that are in an open concentration camp for longer than my lifetime. I'm 57. So we should
I wanna
talk about the
Right, but my point is, why are they more important than Ukrainians?
They're not more important. They
are. They're 10 times more important.
Pardon?
But according to this, they're 10 times more important because
Yeah, but you're looking at, look, one is fighting a war and one is
Because they
being
gotta-
occupied.
they're both fighting wars because they're
No,
both being
they're-
occupied.
You have Hamas fighting, but come on.
What? I'm listening.
Palestine is not in a war. This is a genocide. It's an ethnic cleansing. They don't have an army. They don't have a navy. They don't have any. Come on.
Have you seen you? But again, that doesn't make it okay. But also in
No,
Ukraine,
I'm not saying it.
in Ukraine, you've got mothers and children. Putin was bombing schools.
Yes, he was. Yes, it's horrible. But
And it's 383,000.
They have an army, and that's what we gave way too much military aid and money to someone who has an army, and Palestine has nothing. Yes, they have Hamas, which is not an army.
Agreed. And also there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Jews that hate Netanyahu that are also getting killed innocent. Remember them getting kidnapped and raped and killing babies, Israeli babies. They're innocent as well. There's innocent people on all sides of all wars and all conflicts. And my point is, we can't say that we care about people, but 383,000 Ukrainians fuck off, or Taiwan fuck off, because we can't be bullies. I'm saying we have the power to protect people, and NATO has the power to protect people, and we are the biggest, strongest country in the world.
No one's saying fuck off, but we don't have to delve in either.
Well, that is saying fuck off, because otherwise the bully's just going to run and snatch.
That's the part that I'm saying. Like, we have, because again, if we went with that type of mentality when it comes to certain things, Paula, I think here people would say that. People would say the same thing here. They'd be like, "I'm not homeless. Why the fuck should I care? I don't. I'm not getting shot up because I'm black. Why should I care?" But we do, because we're human beings. And once you look at people as human beings and you look at humanity, you say, okay, we need to fix the problem of caring about humanity. And the only way you do that, well, two ways. You do it with caring first, but you also do it with good leadership. This is why I have to bring it back to where we are going to be faced with one or two choices. And of those two choices, one of these dudes wants to fight with NATO to get rid of the real bullies, the current bullies, I should say. I know America had a history, yes. But the other dude literally wants to tie other people's hands and let the bully punch them in the fucking face. So we have to be focused on what we do here to say, okay, let's make sure we keep our shit together here so we can help the people out there. But if we don't have the shit together here, because we're looking at the wrong thing, we say, oh man, yeah, I know my grandma finally got her affordable insulin, but look how Biden walks. Well, I know the roads just got fixed, so all the stores got their stuff delivered.
But you can't base a vote on me thinking if Biden rides a bike or not, or
no, but the reason why I brought that up, because somebody wrote a comment a while back and I wanted to address it. Okay. Joe said, I know the frustration with Paula. But we need to understand that there are millions of Paulas, meaning people like you. And this is why I wanted you on the show. And thank you again for coming on the show. And there are ones who are going to hand the election to Trump, just like they did in 2016.
Wow, that's what they said. There's a million of me who are going to hand.
Well, but let me tell you,
if I think third party, or if I think,
well, it's not.
If I don't believe between the two.
Well, no, wait. Let me be clear when I say that. Let me be clear when I say it. I am only talking about this election right here.
Right.
This one.
Right. I hear you.
And this one right here, it does come down to either you pick somebody that wants Paula to have the right to have a vote later, or somebody that's like, hey, once I'm in, all this shit stops. And that's all I'm saying, is that I understand you want to fix the system. Shit, me as a black man, I would love to fix the system. I would love it. But I also know that the people that are going to fuck with me, the people that are going to fuck with you as a woman, the people that are going to fuck with the young ladies out there that want to
right here at home.
Huh?
So I said right here at home.
At home. Those people support a dude who could care less about us. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to be, when I said you're not wrong to want to fix this, Paula. I truly believe that, because there's a lot of fucked up shit in DC. It's a lot. But we can't fix anything if there's nothing in place that will allow us to fix it. And one of these people won't allow us to fix it if he gets back in. The fact that he's even this close to getting back in.
It's absurdity. You can't even believe it. I mean, I can't, which is probably why I don't talk about him too often. I mean, I do have, like I said, so much on stage, but it's unbelievable. It really is. And it is very dangerous.
And
as-
and for
as
the
you
record,
stated.
and for the record, I was looking up over here from NBC News. They're saying that this is recent. Well, this is the end of January, so 3 weeks ago. Biden has been for weeks been doing trying to get Israel to change its military tactics and has putting a halt on weapons to Netanyahu and his there's some Democrats Congress administration to pressure Netanyahu and other Israeli officials to stop their tactics, and that we are stopping sending them weapons until they change their fighting tactics and attacking civilians. That's what he says. I'm quietly working with the Israeli government to get them to reduce and significantly get out of Gaza. So that's what they're trying to do, and I'm sure that there's political shit they got to deal with because they're an ally and all this sort of stuff. But and yeah, none of it looks good. But the fact is that there are so many nuances to these sort of things and where we are and our strategic allies and all that sort of stuff that I'm sure most people who go into the office don't even know until they get in there and they get briefed by generals. Yo, man, I know this. I mean, look at Afghanistan. Every president since Obama was like, we're getting out of Afghanistan. We're getting out of Afghanistan. And nobody did it. Trump said he was going to do it. He didn't do it. Obama said he was going to do it. He didn't do it. And everyone was like, Obama's a war hawk because he didn't get out of Afghanistan. Joe Biden gets us out of Afghanistan, which what everybody on the left had been fucking screaming about for 15 years. Get us out of Afghanistan. He goes in and does it. And the first thing he does it, all the generals said, if you do it, this is going to happen. That happened. And everyone said, what an asshole for getting us out of Afghanistan. Well, the fact is that he was in a situation of either pull us out and know that there was going to be some deaths and some shit happen because of creating a hole, or stay there and be called a war hawk because he didn't get out of Afghanistan. And he made the choice and he got shit for it. And he made the choice and he got shit for it by the people on the left that have been bitching about getting out of Afghanistan for 14 years because people died. And they're like, he should have done it a different way. There was no different way. You either had to get out or you had to stay in. And in a lot of these situations, you're like, fuck, man, this is ridiculous that we're here. But you go, oh, I don't know foreign policy. I'm not an expert on foreign policy. But all the generals and everyone goes, okay, but what if you pull out of here, this guy comes in and this guy comes in. Look at what happened when we got out of Syria and Russia. Putin went in and just took over our base, took over all, and helped fucking Erdogan of Turkey. So we can't just go, okay, hands off, because there are shitty bully people who want to commit genocide and want to kill people. There are Putins, there are Netanyahus, there are Hamases out there, there are Xi's, there are fucking Kim Jong-ils. There are these crazy people that if we don't have these strategic forces and we don't do certain things, we just back off, they will take over. And it's way out of any of our fucking pay grade.
There's a reason why they want one guy over the other guy. There's a reason why China wants one guy over the other guy. There's a reason why Russia wants one guy over the other guy. You guys, we got to get ready to go.
Shit, we are late. Yeah, you got to go, and you haven't slept.
I've been going off of donut fumes and tea. So, so let me do this really quick on the wrap up on my end here. I want to thank, first of all, Paula, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can see you, where you perform.
Find me at Paula Kills It online on Instagram or TikTok or paulabellcomic.com. I'll be tomorrow night, Friday at the Laugh Factory in Long Beach, ranting and raving, telling, stupid.
I like that club.
Some hard jokes.
Well, I'll be quick with this. I want to thank you again for coming on. I mean that because these aren't easy conversations to have with people nowadays. So I want to thank you for coming on the show.
I'm always happy to listen and voice my opinion. I guess I really,
I think the only way we reach people and fix things is to have more of these conversations. That's why I said I wanted you on to speak to our audience and and have them understand this, because as you saw, they're interactive and they have their opinions as
We
well.
didn't get too many of your questions today, guys. I apologize.
No, sorry about that, you guys. But
Well, I know you two are adamant about the two parties, and I'm glad to learn that people, are just weighing it out between the two, even though, I have my hopes and dreams about other shit.
But I don't think, I think if you ask most people wouldn't want this system. They wouldn't want this. But the people who understand what's at stake, they're like, okay, we'll deal with that shit after we make sure this doesn't happen. And that's where I'm at. I'm like, I told you, we listed.
So you two are like, to me, if I could just put this in my weird hippy dippy state, you two are like Yemen coming in right now. You're about the here and the now, and you're gonna get shit done about this.
Well, because
I mean, in a way,
well, because
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
I'm about the future.
And because the thing is that now, like I said, if we don't fix this now, there won't be a future. That's where we are with it. Because, and again, we're used to Trump supporters being how they are. I think we started seeing this trend of people in the middle or on the left saying things that we were like, well, wait a minute now, you guys shouldn't be, we shouldn't be falling for the same banana in the tailpipe. So again, I want to thank you for coming on and talking to everybody. And
can I point out somebody that there is a major difference between Paula and when you disagree somewhat on politics or whatever, and I forgot who it was, Tammy or Krista said she waits to talk. That's Trump supporters don't wait to talk.
They don't wait to talk. Trump supporters just be yelling all of you. The signal would have got lost. They would have just dropped the fucking Zoom.
Well, that's what politicians need, is to learn how to listen, and at least at the very least, if you're going to put it between the two and all that, or whatever candidate is, there has to be more listening. And how about just some diplomacy before shit goes down? You know what I'm saying? Not everybody with their finger on some kind of trigger.
I missed those.
That might just be my age. I used to like to throw down when I was
hilarious.
And I was the school bully because I was hungrier than a motherfucker. But but I did end up getting my ass kicked in 5th grade at the museum downtown LA. And it taught me that you can't do that. If you would apply, like Ian was talking about, the schoolyard,
you got thrown in the trash can
about it. I was like, oh shit, I remember that museum in 5th grade. Yes. And I really did try to take a kid down for his lunch, and he was from, I think, he was from Vietnam, or he had just come over. But anyway, that goes to show you, one day your ass will be kicked.
That's right. It's always a bigger bully out there,
whether it's over a sandwich or a country.
Oh my, exactly. Tomato sandwich. I will say this
for having me.
Of course. And you are welcome back anytime. I will say this to the rest of the viewers. Thank you for everybody that was rocking with us today. You know why we do it. We wouldn't have a reason to do the show if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you to Tammy, Tam, Joe, JE as usual. I think JE left already, but thank you again for being here, bro. Curtis and Dylan, what up, bro? How you feeling? Joey, Jack. We had so many people here today. Thank you.
Great comments too. I'm sorry I didn't get to all of them, but go into facebook.com/critical and watch today's episode, which is, if you listen to this on podcast, today is the 22nd of February. Watch that episode. There's lots of great comments on there, by the way. Joey makes, I got to throw this out. Joey makes a great comment. He goes, third parties need to start at something a little lower than POTUS.
Yeah.
True. Well, a lot of people build yourself up.
A lot of people say they want local government, but just keep that in perspective. That's what some of these right-wing cats is doing. They're getting in some of these lower positions and trying to change districting. So anyway, all right, you guys.
Really quick. And hope to see you Sunday. What's Sunday, Joey? Anyway, really quick, I was going to say that we haven't done this for a while. Somebody who was it? Curtis. He said. Curtis said empathy time. Okay. Yes, we always end that with. We haven't in a while. Empathy, empathy, people. got to employ your empathy. You got to put yourself in other people's shoes. And when all that fails, violent empathy. All right.
There you go. It's all about the only way we move forward is we move forward together. The only way we move forward together is to look at each other as brothers and sisters. Period. That's the only way. That is the
That's
only
a
way.
beautiful sentiment. I will keep that today.
Yes. So you guys take care. Thank you for rocking with us. I want to thank our special guest, Paula Bell. Again, thank you for joining us. Go check out her comedy. She's a fucking beast. Go see her. Take care, you guys. Critical Thinking Podcast. Ty Barnett.
Gene Harris. See you next week.
Peace.
Thanks, Paul.